What's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Trinidad Empowerment Network. So I feel like I'm constantly bringing you guys bad news, and I do apologize. Today, I don't bring you great news again because Trinidad has been put on the advisory list of no-go countries for America. We now head up an illustrious list of countries like Pakistan, Egypt, Colombia, Venezuela, Jamaica, etc. So again, I start by saying, what does this mean for our economy, businesses, tourism? Let's break it down. Now, this is big. This is big because, listen, this is not exclusive. It's happened before. I mean, the UK currently has a travel ban on Trinidad that's similar to America, but the American travel ban has just been implemented as of a couple of days ago. Now, it's a level 3 travel ban, which is advisory. So as an American citizen, you're being advised not to travel to Trinidad. The other one down from that would be just don't go to Trinidad. I imagine that'd be level 4, where you'd be straight up advised or told not to go to Trinidad. It's a no-go zone. So that's akin to a terrorist state. That's generally what they do to countries that faced untold terrorism. You travel to that country and you travel back into America, you'd be held up by customs and search and make sure that you're not coming back with anything to do or anything related to terrorism. So that's where we are. Level 3 advisory. Trinidad is a place that you should not travel to if you're American. Again, so let's try and be real about this. The advisory is it's a big deal. It's a big deal to Trinidad. The US are putting us in the same category, like I said previously, with countries that are high on the terrorism chart, countries that are at civil war, countries that have high kidnapping crimes. No, I'm not saying that crime in Trinidad is fairly bad, as we know. We would not be in a state of emergency. I've got to choose my word carefully here. So I don't want to misguide anyone or misinform anyone. But crime is fairly bad in Trinidad, or we would not be under a state of emergency as we speak. And the reason why I've said several times before that a state of emergency is not a good thing is because it isn't a good thing for us. Crime aside, and trying to reduce crime aside, any country that sees Trinidad under a state of emergency is less likely to firstly want to send their citizens there, so that affects tourism, and they are less inclined to do business there, so that affects businesses or investment in Trinidad. Hence, it affects your foreign exchange, it affects the economy, it affects the job market. It essentially makes Trinidad poorer. We are not solely reliant on tourism like some other Caribbean island. We do have natural resources, but tourism is largely an untapped industry in Trinidad, more so than Tobago. It's an untapped industry where billions can potentially be made because of the weather we have in the Caribbean and Trinidad. You look at Barbados and St. Lucia and Antigua, the tourism industry surpasses that of Trinidad tenfold. We're lagging way behind in the tourism sector in Trinidad because, I believe, of the crime situation. So I'm not sure. Listen, I have to try and be optimistic about the future of Trinidad. As you guys know, there's an upcoming election that's going to be between two parties, the PNM and the UNC. I really do feel sometime like we need a third party in Trinidad, an alternative to the PNM and the UNC. And let's face it, those two parties has pretty much occupied power in Trinidad for the last 20, 30 years. And we haven't seen any real significant change. So I'm not surprised that when you interview people on the streets in Trinidad, they were asking for something different, something new, an alternative to the PNM and the UNC. Currently, you have a leader running for the UNC that's already tasted power and seemed to be obsessed by it. She has no real ideas for Trinidad other than to play the race card, it appears to me, or to try and divide Indians against black in Trinidad to win the election, to get her people into power, to fill her pocket and leave. You have with the PNM a new prime minister in Stuart Young, who seems a bit different, but he was part of the old regime anyway under Keith Rowley. So you ask yourself, how much change is he likely to bring in? But Trinidad does need real change, make no bone about it. It's quite frustrating, it's quite worrying for me to see where we are in Trinidad. I think the only way forward is for Trinidad to invest in its people. I think we need to diversify our economy. We need to stop relying on oil and gas as our main source of income. We've been speaking to Venezuela in regards to the Dragon's gas deal. For those of you who've seen my previous video about that, it looks like that is no longer going to happen, as Trump has put massive sanctions on Venezuela as of recently, as of a couple of days ago, in which he decided that any countries doing deals with Venezuela will face a 25% tariffs on the goods that they export to America. Trinidad does 40% of its trades with America, so it's unlikely to want to destroy that in the current situation we find ourselves. 40% of our trades with America is huge for an economy that's valued between 25 and 30 billion US. You do the maths on what 40% of the trades we do with them are. I think we need to, at some point, shift away from America. We need to unite with other Caribbean islands and do trades more so with other Caribbean islands, similar to the European Union. The European Union tend to trade with other European countries that's within proximity of them, right? So England would trade with France, France would trade with Belgium, Belgium would trade with Denmark, and they all have this thing called the European Union, where they trade as a free trading bloc. So you have some apples, I've got some, I don't know, nuts, and we do a deal. And that's essentially how trading works. I sell you my apples, you sell me your nuts, and or whatever and that's essentially how the trading works. So we need to reevaluate how we trade and what we trade and our biggest trading partners. And like I say, we are on a tightrope with this current regime in America under President Trump. It's a difficult one. It's going to be a difficult one for whoever becomes prime minister in Trinidad in the next few months, or next month, 28th of April, I believe, is election date. It's going to be a very difficult one. It's going to be tough negotiated with Donald Trump and Marco Rubio, who's the current Secretary of State. The Dragon's gas deal was a huge, or would have been huge for the Trinidad economy if the PNM, or if the government had managed to pull that one off. It would have been worth a good few billion US to the economy. But like I said, the likelihood of that happening now with the sanctions the US are placing on Venezuela is highly unlikely that that's going to happen. For those of you who don't know what the Dragon's gas deal is, essentially Venezuela has discovered a large amount of natural gas in the Venezuelan waters that needs to be pulled out the ground, essentially. So Trinidad, a Trinidad gas company in partnership with Shell, agreed a contract with Venezuela and the Maduro government to extract the gas out of Venezuela and sell to Trinidad, securing the energy source to Trinidad for the foreseeable future. That's essentially what the Dragon's gas deal with Venezuela was. And like I said, sorry if I've butchered that a bit, but that's essentially what the Dragon's gas deal is. You can look it up on Google if you've got access to it, and educate yourself on the Dragon's gas deal. But now that's been squashed, it looks like that's no longer going to happen. Like I said, my prediction is it's not going to happen now. So that's a large source of income potentially squashed unless Trinidad decides to break away from America and go an alternative route, go alongside the BRICS nation. For those of you who don't know who the BRICS nation are, it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They formed a pact. I believe the Caribbean can get involved, the BRICS are a bigger monopoly than the American market. More people, there's more money. We would have access to a lot more if we were to become part of this BRICS or join this BRICS economy, for want of a better word. There are several African nations joining as we speak. We see currently Barbados, Mia Mottley, setting up trading arrangement with African countries. I think we need to take a leaf out of her book and join the bandwagon and do the same. Because like I say, the American empire, as we know it, is in decline and is essentially falling. So we need to start making our moves now, because it's only going one way, in my opinion, in America. It's only going one way. China is becoming the dominant economy, the dominant empire. We need to align ourselves with China. We look at companies like Tesla in America, that's in massive decline, whilst the Chinese version, BYD, the Chinese version of Tesla, is on the up. They've just developed a vehicle. People talk about electric cars, saying that, yes, when you run out of electric, you have to park up and charge the car for an hour or so to get it going again. That's no longer the case with BYD. If you run out of electric, you park up, and within 5 minutes, you could find a charging point. Your car would be fully charged and ready to go within 5 minutes. That's change. That's a game changer. So BYD, the Chinese electric car company, is up their game and they are going to dominate Tesla. You will see Tesla is massively on the decline, like I've said. Their stocks and shares have dropped drastically. I'm talking billions. The last I heard, roughly in excess to 200 billion they've seen dropped in their shares because of Elon Musk and the things he's been doing. So, like I say, America's on the decline and we need to start making decisions. This Dragon's Gas deal would have been a huge deal for Trinidad. But like I said, it looks likely that it's not going to happen at least for the next 3 to 4 years with a Trump presidency. So with that, let me know what you think in the comment fields. Please like, comment, share, tell a friend to tell a friend about Trinidad Empowerment Network. I don't want to use this channel just to create videos. I want to use this channel to empower people, to create entrepreneurs, businesses, advice, etc., etc. I don't want to use it just as a news network or to report news to you, report negative news to you from around the world. I want to use this platform to educate people as best as I can, educate myself as best as I can, learn from you. And for the people dropping negativity in some of my videos, I could care less about your opinion. If you don't like what I have to say, you feel free to do your own videos. But if you're going to come onto my videos and be negative, then you will be treated as such. We're about positivity. We're about empowering people. Thank you to every single one of you who've liked and comment positively about the videos. And yes, of course, if you disagree, I'm happy to conversate with you in the comment field. I reply to every comment, whether it be good or bad, whether it be negative or positive. And this is how we grow. This is how we learn. This is how we get better. And Trinidad needs to do that. So yes, please subscribe. Please like. And the next video, we do a deep dive into crime in Trinidad and the solutions that's needed to fix the situation. No state of emergency is going to fix it. So we do a deep dive into that on the next video. Stay tuned. Stay subscribed. And I catch you guys in the next video. For now, much love. Take care. God bless.